Now, it's a topic we've spoken about at length, but the problem of police brutality just doesn't go away. And in fact, it seems to be as prevalent as ever. Now, there are two stories that are so insane, we decided we absolutely had to share them with you. And let's start in Arizona, where a SWAT raid went wrong and left a two-tour former Marine dead. You see, SWAT teams had targeted a series of houses and an ongoing drug investigation. And when they got to the house of the former Marine, Jose Guerena, he had already been alerted by his wife that someone was outside. So he grabbed his rifle. But before Guerena could remove the safety from his rifle, he was greeted by more than 60 bullets from law enforcement. And sadly, the incident gets even worse. Turns out that as the wife was trying to help her dying husband, the SWAT team refused to let anyone attend to Guerena, leaving no hope for him to survive. After request from the local press, the wife's 911 call was finally released to the public.
I need you to get a clean cloth and apply a light amount of pressure.
I can't. I can do that. There's a bunch of people outside of my house. I don't know what the heck is happening.
Okay. Go ahead. This is the sheriff's department. Ma'am, this is the sheriff's department. Who is outside your home? I need to know who is outside your home. Can you look out the window?
I think it's the SWAT, but they're... Oh my God.
Okay, so can you please open the door for them?
It's open. It's open. They open it.
Now, after the raid, and after shooting Guerena 60 times, the cops didn't find any evidence of drugs in their raid.
Hi, I'm your friendly policeman. I used to look like this. I was for your safety to protect and defend you. But things have changed, ladies and gentlemen. Now I look like this. Now, several important things have happened in our country in terms of the police and our Constitution. One is definitely the way the police look and the way the police operate has definitely changed. In early America, the police was seen as more of a social welfare kind of worker. In fact, the legendary sheriff, Whitehead, part of his job was to fix the boardwalks in the town and do other duties besides the sheriffing job. So the policeman in early America was seen as a helper, out there to protect and defend, clean the streets up, whatever was needed. But those things have changed. As the military empire has grown and as the country has expanded out, now the police look and operate like the military. Gone are the brown uniforms generally that you used to wear, the friendly colors, the blue colors. Gone on the side of many police cars are the signs that say protect and defend. Now a lot of police cars look ominous, black and white. And then it's the way the police look that's a bit frightening. Sadly, what's happened is our Constitution has been greatly affected. To me, the most important provision in the Bill of Rights, you've got the First Amendment protecting speech, the Second, Third, Fifth, Sixth Amendment, right to counsel. The most important amendment, however, in the Bill of Rights is the Fourth Amendment, which protects us against unreasonable searches and seizures by the police, which means the police cannot go into our homes without a warrant, without a judge looking at to see if they have credible evidence to be arresting you and coming into your home, and whether they should be stopping and seizing you on the street corner and just strip searching or whatever. That's what we see happening in regimes. But that's what's happening in America now. Unfortunately, in my opinion, the Fourth Amendment is dead, not because of the way the police are so much operating, but the go-ahead has been given by the courts in this land, and specifically the Supreme Court, for the police to do whatever they want to in terms of seizing you, moving into our homes, and basically just blowing off our civil liberties. Two cases really illustrate that. A recent Supreme Court decision is an example. It's Kentucky versus King. In this particular case, the police were chasing a so-called suspect, but unfortunately they went to an apartment complex. They wound up at the wrong apartment, the wrong door, and they did not have a warrant. And they said they smelled marijuana. One of the policemen said he might have thought he smelled marijuana. And there was probably a toilet flushing in the house. Well, the police said he may be getting rid of evidence, or she may be getting rid of evidence. They had no warrant. They'd been to no judge. And believe it or not, they had plenty of time to go get a warrant and come back if this was a drug dealer or someone smoking marijuana or whatever. They didn't do that. They decided to blast the door down, which they did. They found some cocaine in the apartment, supposedly, but without a warrant. The U.S. Supreme Court said that's just fine. If the police feel there are exigent circumstances, now they don't need a warrant. They can actually blow your door down and come in and get you if you're smoking a joint, which basically eviscerates the Fourth Amendment. In fact, the lone dissenting judge in the case, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, basically said that. She said, this is the go-ahead now, without a warrant. This eviscerates the Fourth Amendment. The police can do whatever they want and come into your home. Your home is no longer your castle. The other case that I think is important was handed down in Kentucky. It's Barnes versus State. In this particular case, there was a husband and wife were squabbling. The wife called the police. The police arrived. Husband meets him at the door. The wife immediately tells the police, well, he hasn't hit me or anything. And all the man did at the door, the husband, was say, hey, this is my home. What are you doing here? The police decided to taser this particular man. They tasered him, blew into the apartment. And of course, the man objected to this, got a lawyer, went all the way to the Indiana Supreme Court. The Indiana Supreme Court says now, based on what they call public policy, that American citizens, especially in Indiana, can no longer resist when policemen enter your home illegally. That's without a warrant. A number of courts have held this across the land. This has become a rule. So what the message is this. The police no longer need a warrant. That's why the Fourth Amendment was so important. It required that there be probable cause or some kind of evidence that you were doing something wrong, and you have a right to at least question the police. You can no longer resist. What resistance is this. If the police come to your door and they say they're coming in, they don't have a warrant, and you say, wait a second, this is my home. This is my castle. That can be considered resistance. You can get tasered. So that's how far we've gone. I've written a commentary on this subject, which you should read at Rutherford.org. It's called The Changing Face of the Police in America. But here's the point. The police are not just the local fellows you see in your town. The police are now the FBI, the Park Service, or whatever. There are over 100,000 federal policemen today, from the FBI on down, the other Department of Homeland Security. They all carry big weapons. They dress in black. They look very ominous, and they're frightening. And these policemen are interconnected with your local police, so that what we have now is what the Founding Fathers called a standing army, in which they objected to. People like James Madison, George Washington all objected to a standing army, an army that was paid and was always around you, because they knew this would eventually move us into a police state. And that's what has happened in America today. We have moved into a police state. Add to this, all this ominous stuff that I've been talking about, the fact that the U.S. Patriot Act has authorized government agents, again with weapons, to go to your local bank, your school, or wherever, your educational records, wherever you've worked, and get all your information about you, what transactions you're making, what you're spending your money on, what books you're buying, and the institutions they go to are forbidden under the Patriot Act to even tell you that the government's been there. And the government can actually come into your home secretly, search your apartment and not tell you that they've been there. They can download information from your computer and tell you they've not been there. So what does this all add up to is the Fourth Amendment has been thrown out of our Constitution. Some people argue with me and say, John, I think you may be wrong. The Fourth Amendment's not the most important amendment. It's the First Amendment, the right to speak. Well, there's an easy comeback to that one. Your right to free speech is worth nothing in the back of a police car while you're handcuffed. So the Fourth Amendment is the most important amendment in our Constitution. We need a Congress, and I'm really nervous about the present Congress we have. We elected all these Tea Party people, and they're voting to reauthorize the Patriot Act. They're not protecting our Constitution. The one institution that can protect us is Congress. They can pass the law and restore our Fourth Amendment rights. So what do you do as a citizen? You better start getting on some of these people that are your so-called representatives, and we better get our Fourth Amendment rights, folks, or the Fourth Amendment is dead, and it's only going to get worse in terms of our civil liberties.